I think it's myth.
So I go with myth.
My vote on this is that it's a myth.
Those in the audience, you should be able to go vote.
So we've had 2 words so far come up on the Ovilus.
For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm a psychic medium.
I'm Greg, I'm paranormal investigator. I've been doing it for about 15 years.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I've been doing paranormal investigating for close to 15 years. Kind of become the most hated paranormal investigator because I shoot everything down.
We're going to be analyzing videos and pictures that claim to have paranormal activity.
I thought that was very interesting when that smoke is hanging in the air like that.
Do we have someone with us who is telling us what that is? Not that who is speaking is actually the one in that video.
Coming from right here, one central area from within the house.
Hi.
How's everybody?
Good evening. You guys will notice a couple of changes. One is I have a really bad cold. 2 is we traded out Greg's for tonight, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But welcome to Myth or Mystery. Tonight is going to be a really fascinating night. I'm looking at the comments right now. Hi, Skeleton Crew. Anton, good evening. Just saying hi to everybody as I see you guys come in. So to get us started, my name's Miriam. I'm a psychic medium. And we have Harlow, who is our graphic artist and a researcher. Hi, Harlow. How are you?
Doing good.
Good.
I escaped the cold.
You what?
I escaped the cold. I don't have any kids.
Yeah, we were just talking about how I don't have kids either, but how like traumatizing it is when I get sick. And Ryan's like, dude, I've been sick for the last 10 years because he's got 2 kids or 3 kids.
4.
You have 4 kids? How come I only thought you had 2?
I have 4.
Oof, I'm sorry. I mean, that is so beautiful. That is beautiful. So Harlow is our producer. She does all the behind the scenes stuff. She's our researcher and is going to be making an appearance later on in the show with some more info. So thank you, Harlow. And we'll say goodbye for now, but see you soon. And then we have our panel. So our favorite little Greg is homesick. And since we're so obsessed with Greg, we only bring in co-hosts with also the name of Greg. So we have Greg Ludwig standing in for him. Thank you, Greg, for doing this so last minute.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here. Ghost Inspector Greg here, by the way.
Yes, tell us about yourself and what you do and who you are and all that good stuff.
Well, that sort of stuff. Okay, well, I'm a 4th generation paranormal investigator, and I've been involved in paranormal things, I guess, since I was a kid, 13, something like that. My dad got me involved, and my grandfather would teach me things, and that they all learned from, their father. And so I've just kind of always been involved and interested through my whole life, along with other things. You can see Bigfoot back there and other stuff. But anyway, I'm the celebrity ghost whisperer, and I do a lot of work with dead celebrities, which you can see on my Instagram. So that's kind of about me.
Great. Thank you. Make sure you guys check out Greg's Instagram if you don't already. He's got a pretty big following, so you might already follow him. But we look forward to having actually Greg back. We were talking before the show about he's got a lot going on. So I know that we will be seeing him again here on Myth or Mystery. And then Mr. Ryan. Hi, Ryan.
Hi. I've been doing paranormal investigating for about 15 years, a little less than 15 years. And throughout those years, working with others in the paranormal community, kind of developed an unpopular reputation. Whenever people want me to kind of review some of their evidence, review anything that they have, I tend to look for the truth behind it. And a lot of people don't like getting their stuff debunked, and I tend to debunk a lot of stuff. So
I know tonight is going to be a big one. I know for us. You know, I always like to tell everyone we all have great respect for each other, and even though we take this work very seriously, we also like to have fun with it. So we definitely tease Ryan a lot, but I do respect his research and his opinion and his experience, even if he's not right. So let's talk about Myth or Mystery a little bit. Myth or Mystery, we are an interactive paranormal show with a panel of experts and audience. You get to participate. The panel of experts will individually determine myth, mystery, or unknown. So basically, myth is it is not paranormal or fake, right? Mystery is it is paranormal, or unknown, we really don't know what it is. We don't want to say that it's fake. We can't really determine that it's paranormal. We just don't know. Ultimately, we all have to come together to agree on our final conclusion. You guys get to be polled throughout the show. So if you're watching on Facebook, jump over to YouTube. On my page, this is where the polling takes place. Let me pop that banner up for you guys here. So participate in the voting on my page on YouTube, and basically you guys will be the tiebreaker if we come across ties, which we have actually had a handful of ties. We take into consideration your voting and your thoughts, so please comment and participate and join in, and ideally take my side would be first choice. All right. So I'm doing like double duty. Normally I just do the comments and Greg is in charge of all the other stuff, but I'm doing double duty. And so just bear with me as I jump from screen to screen to make sure everything is running smoothly. And then on top of that, I don't get into a sneezing fit in the middle of the show, which I will mute if I do. But let's get started on our first video of the night.
Canada, an urban explorer came across an abandoned house. There wasn't anything unusual about the house, and he didn't feel anything out of the ordinary as he explored. It wasn't until he got home and reviewed the footage that he saw the anomaly.
All right. So I'm going to pull up Harlow for a moment. As you can see, we've got some stats on this. Harlow, share with us what else you've got.
Basically, this took place in 2016. An urban explorer came across the house in Ontario, Canada. He walks around filming, starts to go up the stairs, feels that they're unstable, and decides to turn around. When he does that, the camera pans left, catching a white filmy anomaly as it floats by. And the video has amassed over 3 million views on his Freaktography page as well as his social media pages. He states that he never felt anything unusual in the house. And in all his years of exploration, this was the first time he ever caught anything remotely considered unusual or possibly paranormal. Some of the viewers suggested that it might be a floating cobweb or spider web, possibly even dust disturbed by his movement. And it's going to be up to the panel to decide what it is.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. And then as you can see below, it had 3 million views, 19,000 likes, 650 comments, and 365 shares. All right. Thank you, Harlow. So let me put this up. And then let me take this down. So I'm going to go first, and then we'll have Greg, and then we'll have Ryan jump in. And then polling is ready to roll. You guys go to my YouTube page. Let me pull that up. Which one? All right, vote now. YouTube at Miriam Farish. So if you are on Facebook, you want to jump over to my YouTube page to vote. So here's the thing. This is where I'm going to need some help from the audience tonight. I don't feel anything from this. I never felt anything from it. I didn't feel anything intuitively. And so I'm curious to any of my psychic friends out there that are watching tonight. I know there's a handful of you guys. Are you feeling anything? Because here's where I'm tripped up by it. I don't feel anything, but I watch it and I can, how do I say this? It's like I know that it is something, but I'm not feeling what it is. Like it doesn't feel like a full human that passed and their ghost is wandering the home. It feels like some form of energy, but so slight and so, I don't know. I can't even put it into words, but yet I look at it and I'm like, that doesn't look like dust. Like I look at it and I don't feel a connection to it, but I also have this feeling, if I can, maybe feeling isn't the word, but it's something. I have no idea what. And Denise is saying she's not feeling anything. Okay, so here's something. I feel like it's energy source floating by to check him out. See, that feels like that. I could say, okay, that feels more along the lines. It doesn't feel human. It doesn't feel like it's anything that can be communicated with. But I don't want to say that it's not like just some form of energy that came together and is moving around. And you're picking up on a little, okay, interesting. But do you think that energy, for lack of better words, we'll call it an energy ball for now. Do you think that that's that little girl? Because Holly's saying she's picking up a little girl, but I don't feel like that's anything specific. So I guess for my vote, I'm going to have to go with unknown, because even though I couldn't explain it, it doesn't feel right to say that it's fake or not paranormal, but I don't feel anything that's connecting it to that. Let's see, what does she, hold on. It stays in the house. No, I don't feel it's a girl. Yeah, I feel like, Holly, I think you're obviously picking up on something that's there, but I don't think it's that specific thing. So I'm going to go with unknown. Okay, Greg.
So you are you're basically right in the middle there, and so something tells me that the viewers are going to be the tiebreaker on this. So here's the thing. I like the movement of it. I like the shape of it as it floats through. Could it be a spirit? Well, I've seen a lot of this, and in some situations, I've said definitely it's a spirit, and in others, it could have been something else. It could be glare from a passing vehicle, that hits the sunshine hits the window and sends sends something like that across the camera. The one thing I'm curious about is it is pretty prominent, and he talked about how he panned away because he thought he was he's watching his step, and he panned the camera away, but I don't really see that. The camera's focused, in my opinion. So so that part kind of I don't know, kind of bothers me a little bit, but it's certainly not a mist. and again, though, it could be some sort of glare. But it seems to me that this guy would have noticed this. Okay, now
Uh,
because he's an explorer, right? And so you're looking at you're open to everything. You're looking for everything that you could see around that place. So I would think he might have noticed this. So to give you my verdict of this, I said that maybe the audience might be a tiebreaker, but I don't know, might be wrong. I'm kind of right where you are with this. I think it's possible. I'm not going to say for sure, but I do think it's possible. I've seen this stuff before. So my vote is maybe.
so you'll go with unknown.
Yeah, I'll go with unknown also.
Okay.
But it's interesting.
Okay, fair enough. Now, Ryan, sorry, I was moving all the boxes around because I was trying to get to Ryan here. Ryan, you have a screen you want me to put up?
Yep. Go ahead
Yeah.
and throw that up for me.
Okay, so let me do this, and then
Okay.
let me. Okay,
That's fine like that. Oh, I get to go solo. So I slowed it down a little bit here too on my own and zoomed in a little bit. So it's going to play through just real quick. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time replaying it because we've seen it a lot. What I do like is the motion that it has, coming downward angle and then darts off to the right. I do like the motion in it. Honestly, when I saw this one making its rounds, I got pretty excited about it. And then when I started digging into it a little bit, so I started going frame by frame with it. Not sure if you guys can see that, but right in here, I'll draw the outline of it. In this frame, I don't know if you can see all those little boxes. There's a perfect square here. Right in there. And then if I go to the next screen, the next frame, I should say, it shifts just slightly. Sorry. It just shifts a little bit to the right there. And then if I go to the next frame itself, this is the one that really gets me. Right here. Right in here. Can you see that blur in there? It's a straight line running right down here, right next, just to the left of my line. There's a blur. That is, it's an artifact in the video. And then one thing that I also noticed was,
what does that mean, Ryan? What does an artifact in the video mean?
somebody put something in the video to make it like a kind of like what I'm doing here with my green screen, where I can draw on top of it. That's what you consider an artifact on it. And you can put whatever you want in there. This next one, I backed it up a little bit before we see this shape, figure, mist, whatever. And there's none of that in here. There's none of that grid work. There's nothing in there at all. But then when we go to advance it just a little bit, then we start seeing the squares and the grid work come back. This to me is a myth. I really wanted it to be real, but after I dug into it a little bit, it's a myth. This is a hoax video that somebody put stuff into the video, unfortunately.
You know, what's interesting about that is this guy who took the video. I'm going to bring Harlow in for a sec. Harlow, I'm bringing you in obviously because you were part of researching it. You know, just to be clear, Harlow isn't researching if these videos are fake or real. She's just researching the videos in general that we would like to analyze. But this is the person who did this video is an explorer. This isn't a paranormal investigator. And this was someone who actually does a lot of exploring of just like, if I'm correct, Harlow, of just old or locations or buildings or whatever, but nothing in his line of work is paranormal. So for him, this was a once in a lifetime kind of grab. Is that fair to say, Harlow?
Yeah, that's what he's an urban explorer, and he said in all his years he'd never come across anything like that before. So that's the information I had to go on.
Yeah, and so I bring that up just because I don't think, with that in mind, and this person has a very reputable website, has a lot of.
He's been doing it for years. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't think that I don't think he put that in there intentionally. Just like, listen, if this was a video that was just a random one-off, they don't have any other stuff up, or even, I hate to say it, even if they do, like, even if they are in the paranormal world, I would be questioning it. But I guess the reason why I'm questioning or just saying that, Ryan, is because based off this person's background and history, and I think how he makes his living, I don't think he would risk putting himself in a position of something being false that could destroy all the work he's done up until now. So do you think, Ryan, that what you're seeing could be coming from something else? I'm not saying something paranormal, but maybe like what you're viewing, what you're looking at is not like someone intentionally putting something in, but maybe when he was editing, or I don't know, like accidentally something, you know what I'm saying?
Could be. And I'm not, I guess I used the wrong wording there, that it was intentionally put in. What I'm saying is that there is an artifact in the video that is causing me to believe that it's a myth. It's not.
Okay.
Accurate.
And so artifact could be anything. Like, could it, like, when you say artifact, could it be simply like a dust bunny that got stuck or something and floated by? Like, when you say artifact, tell me, like, explain that again for me.
This to me looks like somebody, or somehow it was digitally manipulated.
Okay. So, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, my Ovilus is going off now too.
It is? What's it saying?
Yeah, the number 9 and wish.
Really? Yep. Harlow, did you catch that?
Yeah, I'm going to write it in there.
Well, that's interesting. So, Ryan, with everything we've said, you won't move over to Unknown with us, huh?
Nope, I can't. I really want to. I really like this one. When I first saw it, I spent a lot of time watching it just through my phone as I was surfing, social media. It kept popping up, and I kept on watching it. And I liked everything that I saw. But then when I took it frame by frame and I started seeing this, I can't call it anything other than a myth, unfortunately.
All right. So then audience, let me see what you guys are doing over at your over at the polling site. That sounded funny. I don't know why that sounded weird. How do I hold on? I need to do this. Let me jump in over there. I'm going to have to mute us. And let me see what the polling's saying, because you guys are going to have to push Ryan out, basically. Hold on. It's pulling up right now. Okay, so we've got mystery 57%, unknown 28%, myth 14%. So and now that may change because that's a moving poll. But hold on, that doesn't help us any, because we still have unknown is 28%. I guess because neither Greg or I think it's a mystery, right? We both think it's unknown. So then 28% say, well, so that could push us over into unknown territory. Let's see. We'll see once we're done with the final. We'll come back and revisit this. Okay, so you guys in the comments are saying you don't think it's paranormal, but you don't think it was put in. Yeah, like what's interesting though is we're all kind of feeling like it's not paranormal, but what is it? Or then you go the whole other extreme, which is Ryan, of just saying no, that it's not. So interesting. All right. So we'll come back. Go ahead, Ryan. What were you going to say?
Oh, it's Greg. Can I jump in on that?
Oh, Greg, yes, please.
So, having only seen that video for, the few views that it went across, and then hearing what Ryan said about the anomaly and basically the square shape, as a paranormal investigator, I would now want to go there and see if that square, maybe it's a specific crease in that whatever wallpaper, whatever it is. Maybe it's, maybe there's that square is evident at the site. And if it is, then it, I would say, goes back. It keeps me in the unknown. But if it isn't there, okay, and there's some tears or anything in that spot, okay, then I absolutely 100% am going to side with Ryan.
Yeah.
So where's that?
I like
place?
this Greg better.
Cheating. You can't. So we can each week we can decide which Greg we want on. You can have this Greg this week.
I don't want to step on anybody's toes,
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well that makes a lot of sense. I'm with you guys. Okay, but here's the deal. Let's wait. Let's do the second one, and we'll come back because we'll get our final polling off of YouTube and see what they have to say. Okay, so now we're going to jump into our trivia is what we're going to do, and then we'll do our next image. For tonight, so the first person to put the answer in the comments you'll have your name in a hat, and then at the end of the month, which is like right now, we are going to pick your name, and then we will send out your prize. Okay, this is it. I think this might be an easy one. What does the acronym EVP stand for?
I like this question.
Stacy, are these available for purchase? Yes, they are. I'm going to give you that in just a minute.
She lost all hope on winning it.
All right. And we technically only give you guys 5 seconds because we don't want anyone Googling, but we can't control the world. Jill Jade. Oh, technically Skeleton Crew. Sorry, Skeleton Crew. I think you came in first. You guys came in at the exact same time. So Skeleton Crew and Jill Jade came in at the exact same time. So let's put both their names in the hat. Okay, Harlow? Jill Jade and Skeleton Crew. Thanks, you guys. Is it is that the right answer, though? Should I double check? You guys know it's, yeah? Yeah, it is.
That is right. Electronic voice phenomenon.
I'm like, I just assumed they were right because I didn't know. All right.
Okay, you better know the answer.
All right, good job, you guys. All right, let's go on to our next image. Where are we? Here we go.
Mystery received an anonymous video submission with the following backstory. A loved one had passed in the home. The timestamps of these photos aligns perfectly with when their loved one had passed, but the body was still in the home. While the family was gathering evidence to determine the cause of death, they found what was captured on the security camera. This isn't a family that typically believes in the paranormal, but it shocked them, and they believe it to be the spirit of their loved one.
Okay, so this one is so interesting. This was submitted to us. I did do a reading for this family. And let me add this to the stage. Okay, so now I want you, hang on one sec. Let me just trade this out. You guys can now vote on image number 2 on YouTube. Okay. I think I want to do this on this one. All right. So here's the thing. This person died in the home, and the body was there for, I think, a day or 2 max. And when the family obviously, started to process everything, they noticed these images, and it aligned with the same time of her passing. And so, this individual being in the home and is obviously, I did a reading, so it's inevitable that that person was in the home at that time, which is not unusual, right? Especially if someone passes in the home, it's not unusual for them to be there, to be revisiting or what have you. But when these pictures really struck me, because it was as if I could feel just from the picture before I read them, I could feel from the picture that this was this person, them leaving. Like, it was as clear as day for me. And I felt the connection to the person that passed. I felt the connection to it, I mean, it's like, I don't even have words other than it's her hands down. It wasn't even up for debate. It wasn't, I mean, and they didn't even provide the specifics of the timing until after asking me. And I was like, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. Like, and here's the thing, like, time in the spirit world is not, there is no time in the spirit world. I'm sorry, let me say that. And so it doesn't, even if they had captured these weeks after her passing, I would still feel that connection, because the time doesn't matter. Like, the fact that it coincides is just even more validation. But even if times didn't coincide, it wouldn't matter, because though that spirit, that light, can move through at any point. And so I'm just really blown away by these, and really blown away by the timing of it and the visual of it. And again, this is a family that is not into this stuff, and they were looking at these cameras to help them learn about how she died, and did someone come in the house, and what happened. And they weren't looking for this stuff. They were looking for other people and their loved one. And they happened upon this, and this isn't even their world. This isn't something that they believe in until they met with me. And so it's just a really fascinating, crazy coincidence, if you will, where spirit and the earth and the physical align. And, when Harlow and I were discussing it, Harlow was like, well, technically orbs aren't, don't always look like this. And I may be paraphrasing that, Harlow, for what Harlow said, but maybe orb isn't the right word. And I thought, there's so much we don't know about the spirit world, and anything's possible, right? So the rod orb always fascinate me. It's similar to plasma manifesting. So interesting. And Jill was saying she felt tingles, the whole time. To me, listen, as you guys know, like, I don't dive into the science of paranormal. I don't read about it, learn about it. And I simply do that so that everything that I speak about is coming from an intuitive place. It's not because I don't believe, obviously, but I can tell you that this, I don't, you guys will have to explain to me technically the definition of an orb, but I can tell you that this is her being leaving her body. Is that an orb? I don't know. Is that like, is that the definition of an orb? I don't know. If it's not, then this isn't an orb, but this is that woman leaving her body. So this for me is an easy mystery. And Harlow, Harlow, I spoke for you a couple times. Is there anything you wanted to say to clarify what I was saying?
No, I think that's it pretty much covers it.
Okay, good. Okay. Greg.
Okay, well, two comments that I read. Stacy mentioned that she follows a hospice nurse who sees this stuff happen all the time, and I find that interesting, and I find that very credible. And Jill brought up the term rods. Okay, and now the rods were very popular 20 years ago, and then people would show them. People were suggesting there's a spacecraft, a spirit, all these sorts of things. And so as I do my Bigfoot investigations and I set up trail cameras, okay, I see thousands of pictures of rods on my trail cameras, okay, and because what they are is they're a bug flying by, and but they're specific. They look just like your stereotypical rod that or alien, paranormal, whatever it is. Orbs are generally round, and I'm not just saying that just because you always see them that way. For me, I see a lot of them, and they are generally round, and a lot of times there's a little face in them. So for me, when we're talking from a paranormal standpoint, Ryan may think orbs are baloney, but for me, I don't. And they're whites, they're black, but they're round. So if this is some form of spirit, it's definitely not an orb. And I don't feel things the way you feel things. I just look at it scientifically, and it's my opinion that this is probably a bug caught on camera. And I could be wrong, but I'm going to have to go with it's a myth.
Oh, Ryan is just going. If Ryan could reach through the screen right now and kiss you, he would.
Okay, come here.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm putting up Ryan. I'm putting you up. I'm taking us down.
All right, so this is that first one that we have. I just zoomed in a little bit so that we can see it a little bit clearer. The second one is the one that really got me thinking a little bit about it. What we're looking at is right here. We can see all these little bumps as it goes on. I have seen that, like Greg said, dozens and dozens of times. This one, it's very similar to it. Not quite the same, but very similar. See how it's got those bumps in it? This one, again, not quite the same, but you still have the bumps. And what these are bugs. So this happens to be a dragonfly as it's in flight, and then how it shows up on an infrared camera on the bottom. How it's got all the ups and downs and everything kind of blurs together. That's how you get all those bumps and the rod-looking things with the wavy lines. That's a bug flying through. With the infrared cameras, the shutter speed slows down so that it can capture night vision better. It can suck in as much light as possible. Because the shutter speed is so slow and the bugs are flying so fast, you get these kind of blurry images that look really interesting. Here's another one. This shutter speed on this particular picture is very slow. You've probably seen those pictures of cars down the highway at night, and it just looks like red and white lines. This is a similar thing. Bugs reflect very well off of infrared light, which is light that we can't see with our naked eye, but the cameras can pick it up once they've been altered a little bit. And this is showing the paths of those bugs. So if I go back to the original picture here, this one to me looks very similar to these pictures, how they kind of start and stop and then continue on. And this one with all the wavy lines is almost identical to this one. My heart goes out for the family for losing their loved one. But unfortunately, I do have to say that this is a myth. They're insects. I know that they get exciting. The first time I saw one on video, I was super excited about it. But then after I saw 300 of them more come through in the same night, I figured it has to be something else going on, and dug into it. And they are bugs. They show up weird on infrared.
So I have to say that I don't think the pictures that you showed match with these orbs. I don't think they look as similar. And like Stacy's saying, like, this house was closed up for 48 hours with a dead body in it. There's not dragonflies running around in there.
And I'm not saying it was dragonfly. That's just a picture that I had found to show how the wing patterns work.
Yes, but moths look,
moths are big
much
ones.
similar to this. To be honest with you, much similar, especially small ones. They'll have this very exact sort of look, and they'll still have those little rivets. But hey, I could be wrong.
I think first off, I think I think it's really cool that Ryan and Greg, that you guys both have these comparisons, that you've had this history of seeing this stuff so similar. And I get that. I see that. But I don't with this. Like, even when you pull up, like, Ryan, for fun, pull up those comparison photos. Even, let's just say, don't, like, so my people in my other intuitive folks in the audience, I look at those pictures and I don't feel anything. Now, I could get very logical, like like when I just said, like, technically those comparisons don't even look the same to me. But I also don't feel anything when I look at his comparison videos like I feel in that orb video. And what's interesting too is, hold on.
One thing too, the time of death part of it, I think we have to kind of discredit. One of the pictures was taken at 1:04 a.m. The other one was taken at 12:42 a.m. So, we got a 20-30 minute difference there. So it's not the exact same times. There's something to be said about that too.
Well, and yes, you for sure. I think, like I said, though, even if these showed up 3 days later, 5 or a week later, it doesn't change how the spirit moves through the home, because time is not the same, right? Yep. But for the sake of argument, yes, for sure. But I guess my point is to you guys in the audience too. When we're looking at, like, for me, what's fun about doing this show is having someone like Ryan, and either both are Greg's, using their expertise and sharing all of this information. And then for those of us that are psychic or intuitive, being able to feel and know what you're feeling, whether or not someone debunks it, if that makes sense. So that's why, like, part of the reason why I read first is because if you were to have me read after everyone goes through the analytics of it, it could shift my intuitive feeling based out of fear. Well, all these people are saying all this stuff, and how does my psychic ability match up to that? And there's this whole experience you go through as a psychic or as someone that's intuitive. But that's why when I read it first, I'm telling you what that feeling is. no matter what anyone has to say, that's my psychic feeling. That's my my expertise, right? So then when you start analyzing it, I'm able to say, God, that's all true. That all makes a lot of sense. I can see where you would compare that. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stand by my intuition, not because my intuition is better than or the only way, but because it's also an option. And I guess what I'm trying to say is what we've talked about in other shows is both can be true. Both can be true. Like, obviously, there can be a bug in the house, of course. But that's why, like, when Ryan and I were texting earlier, and I said, Ryan, show the pictures, compare, because that's compelling. And why that's compelling for me is because when he showed the pictures of the other bugs just now, I don't feel anything from those. And I'm like, yeah, I'm with you. I don't feel anything from those. But when you show me that the picture from tonight of this home, that I feel. And so is it that I'm just feeling the energy of that person in that home? Yes. But as we do this show, I'm trying to get more specific on, am I feeling the energy of the home? And then is that energy being portrayed in this image, like in the house we just did? I'm feeling like I wasn't really feeling anything, but like this nudge in me was like, but it's not fake, but I can't tell you really what it is. And so being able to get more specific on, okay, yes, someone died in the home, we're going to feel energy, right? We're all going to, like, Ryan's going to feel energy there. Like, everyone's going to feel it. Is that what we're looking at in the picture? And in some instances, we've all agreed that, no, you're right. You're feeling something, Miriam, but that's not what this picture is. In this, I do feel like that's what that picture is. I really do. But I love that these two don't feel that. I understand what Ryan is saying. I don't see the examples of the same, but those examples make sense. However, intuitively, I chose mystery. Okay, thank you, Skeleton Crew. That's what I was that's what I was trying to express. I don't feel
You
anything
just
with
had
those
two words pop up too.
What'd you get?
Upon, like you said something upon the shelf, and crescent, like a crescent moon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you know, I'd just like to say that I don't in no way want to be like discrediting what people are saying. Like you said, I do believe everybody is sensing this energy from that place where that person had passed on. And again, I am just simply looking at that item in that photo. And I believe if that item was not in that photo, you guys would still feel that energy, no matter what. So I'm just saying that the item itself is probably incidental. And so that's why I am going to go with Moth. But I do believe you guys, because you guys aren't schmucks, for whatever word I want to use. You guys know what you're talking about. You guys know what you're doing. And so I'm not going to discredit that. I believe every bit of what you guys say. So
yeah,
well,
I agree.
I appreciate that. And I wanted to say to that, Greg, too, what's interesting is, like, Ryan and I were chatting earlier when we found out the other Greg was sick. And he's like, oh, well, I have this person or that, this other person. They're also a medium. And I actually was like, I don't want another medium on the show because I don't want it to be imbalanced. You know, because let's be honest, mediums, we can all feel stuff till we're blue in the face. But having something to compare it to, which is having people like Ryan and Greg, is where I think it's fun, because that's when we can bump up against each other and go, well, hang on, that's actually a solid point. So does that shift my intuition? Does that change what I'm feeling? Excuse me.
Yeah, and I would agree with you, Greg, too, that, you know, even looking at those pictures and hearing them backstory and everything, yeah, you get the tingles in those pictures, but the pictures as presented, you know, I think is what we're looking at, and that's where you and I are in agreement that this is some kind of an insect.
And I appreciate that, the tingles. I appreciate you guys and the emotion that you're picking up, because see, I don't allow myself to go there. Okay. I stay very scientific about these things, and that's why I like working with a medium when I am out and about. That's good, because I won't go there with that sort of energy. Or at least I try not to. Sometimes I slip, but I try not to. I just try to stay scientific with it. So that's why I say, hey, let me tell you, all you guys, I'm not doubting you one bit. Trust me. Yeah, scientific.
Well, and I appreciate that. And here's the thing too, is when it comes to being science-based or fact-based, really, this is where we're going to have breakthroughs in paranormal work, because the stronger you guys hold your line of what you know and what your experience is, and the stronger I hold the line, eventually we're going to come across some stuff that's like, wow, because we can actually prove it between what you're saying and what I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I felt like we did that last week with the UFO video.
Yeah.
I was truly, truly shocked to my core that Ryan was able to prove that those were UFO lights. And so it aligned with what I was feeling. And then we had the pendulum going that also aligned with it. And so I love, this is why this is fun, because the stronger you all are in your facts and your science, and the stronger that I am and the audience is with their intuition, the more credible and powerful our discoveries will become. And that's the great thing.
Sorry, 3 more words just popped through too. Farmers, bank, and sad.
Farmers,
bank, and sad.
I should have put mine on too.
Yeah, what's the B as in boy, INK?
BANK, like where you store money.
Oh, bank. Oh, wait, say it again.
Farmers, like, I just had another one come through. So farmers, bank, sad, and now truth just came through.
I say that just because when I did the reading, there was that aligns with some of the reading. The farmers, I don't know, but bank, yeah, that's going to be
sad,
interesting.
Truth were the last 3. So,
yeah, I can only fit so many in there. I saw what you added. I tried to add them, but they were so tiny it wouldn't even show.
Sure.
No, that's okay. What did the person who passed do for a living? That's a good question, Denise. I don't think I know, but I also don't want to say just in case they really wanted to stay private. It wasn't working for, like, she wasn't in finance or anything like that. But I mean, it's not surprising that there's financial issues when someone passes. But this is what there is a Farmers Bank and Trust. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah,
it is.
Okay, I'll find out. That's crazy. Okay, I kind of like, so let's look at image number 2. Mystery, myth, and myth. Mystery was still 62%. Okay, so I mean, we have a tie. Me in the audience and Greg and Ryan. That's a tie. So image 2 is a tie. Number 1 is unknown, and Ryan was the myth. But I mean, technically the audience could become the tiebreaker, though, right? 28% is, or no, because 57% said mystery. I don't know, you guys. Whenever it comes to like doing numbers and math, I don't know. Like, let's just say no, because no one wants Ryan winning ever. So, okay.
We've got 2 unknowns.
I guess
so.
I mean, for number 1, it's like we have 2 unknowns, and then 28% say unknown. So we could technically say number 1 is an unknown too. At the end of the day, Ryan is still outnumbered. It's 1 of him and 28% to the 2 unknowns. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, it sort of does because it's fun. Hold on. Okay, so Ryan was just telling me that all those came through while we were discussing those pictures. That's crazy. I'm curious to see if there's any alignment with that. We'll find that out. Okay, let's do one more trivia question. So we have one more person who has the opportunity to get their name thrown in the infamous hat, and then we'll say goodnight. Okay, so we only did one trivia question, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so I think this is a hard one. What is the name of the famously haunted honky tonk in Kentucky? What is the name of the famously haunted honky tonk in Kentucky? That's a hard one. Does anyone have it? Ryan or Greg, do you guys know it?
There's a little delay. Give them a chance. It's pretty well known.
Oh, it is. So it's just me. I thought it was a hard one.
Well,
Obvious just said club.
it did, huh? Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty cool, actually. Because the winner did say Bobby Mackey's.
Yep.
And that is a club, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a
Wait, Ryan, your Ovulus said club?
Yep. While we were waiting, it said club.
No kidding.
Yep. And Bobby Mackey's is, yeah. That's interesting.
a honky
Dude, we
tonk,
need
whatever
to-
you want to call it.
Your Ovulus is so much more talkative than Greg's was. We need to get yours set up with the second camera.
Yeah.
We could probably set it up with your phone. That's really good. Okay, so Barefoot Gardener 1111.
Ooh. Sin. SYNN.
That came up too?
Yep. Just came up.
Whoa.
Definitely a lot of that goes on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Given the history there.
Wow. Harlow, did you get
At the same time, I had some cat balls going off here.
really?
Oh.
The REM pod didn't do anything, but the cat balls did.
I love
just
those
got
cats.
another one. Okay. This is cool.
Does anyone live near that place? Maybe we need to.
Oh, that
Is it-
place is famous.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I'll be
crazy.
going there. I'll be going there in sometime over the next 6 months.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Ooh,
That'll be
maybe
fun.
we can join you live. That would be fun. That sounds crazy. Okay, well, tonight was a great show. Oh my gosh.
It's fun.
That was a lot of fun. Greg, you were amazing, and you're Ryan's new best friend.
Well, thanks
It
for
does-
having me. And if you don't mind, Gwen wanted to say hello, if Gwen could. Hello, Gwen.
Huh.
So, Gwen was feeling lonely. up there.
Gwen.
But,
Tell us about Gwen.
Well, Gwen self-identifies as a Bigfoot. And Gwen has been with me for a number of years now. And Gwen was made by a fantastic artist. And Gwen wasn't cheap, and still isn't as far as that goes. But have a lot of fun
Well,
with
worth it.
I have a lot of fun with my Bigfoot.
Yeah, did you see? Okay, Greg, I want to know if you saw the video of that recent sighting going around. Did we do Bigfoot last week or the week before that?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Greg, did you see that video that's been floating around?
Which one? The one on the train where the people are on the train?
It was that it, Ryan?
No, that's not the one we did, but that's out there now too. Yeah.
Yeah, that one has been going around too.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Not that one. I mean, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it was so blatantly obvious. It was not that. It was another one. It was kind of blurry, and I got to send it to you, Greg, if you haven't seen it.
Darn it! Why are they always blurry?
I know.
the way it
I'm
was.
curious what you think.
Yeah.
That was a
Well,
really.
Well, I've had some interesting experiences. More smells and senses of being watched from multiple directions. And interestingly, my nephew and son sensed the same thing.
No kidding.
Yeah, they were. We were out up in the Sierras, and yeah, so it was a little bit of an intense situation. I usually don't feel that way, but Have I captured anything myself? I got to be honest, I really haven't. But only just experiences, that
Yeah.
sense that in the senses,
Well, your time will come. And in the meantime, I want to send you that video to see if you've seen it.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I love to see it.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Greg. That was a great show tonight. We'll be back next week, and we will be at this again. Next week. I think we have another UFO video coming up, and we have another image from a private home investigation. Okay, you guys. Thank you, Harlow. Everybody, have a good night.
Thank you guys for having.